So, what happens when a black figure gains significant influence and they are not a part of the Boule brotherhood? What happens when Marcus Garvey throws a wrench into the plans of the secret high government? Let's find out. To begin this story, we will investigate the mysterious world of the Boule, or properly known as Sigma Pi Phi. The Boule was the first black fraternity born out of the segregated norms. The existing Freemason groups would not allow their black counterparts to become members. So the elite black men of the 1900s created an identical secret society that excluded white men from joining. Of course, they wanted to be just like the white men, so they mimicked the rules and regulations of the Skull and Bones secret society, which required unique initiation rituals, and most importantly, making sure the main purpose of the brotherhood remained unknown to the public. Here is where it gets interesting. The word Boule comes from the Greek term that refers to the lower house of government. And if the Boule is the lower house of government, obviously they abide by the rules and regulations of the higher government agenda. Get this. Their emblem is a Grecian sphinx, which is a lot like a gargoyle. This represents the Black Brotherhood as the guardians and protectors. Guardians and protectors of who? Do you think they would uphold the rights and liberties of the black community above everything else? I'll let you be the judge of that. In 1914, Garvey started the Universal Negro Improvement Association. The organization aimed to improve the economic, social, and political conditions of black people and foster a sense of pride and identity. Marcus Garvey had a vision for African Americans to migrate back to Africa, specifically to Liberia, as a means of achieving self-sufficiency and cultural revitalization. On August 1, 1920, the UNIA had their first meeting in New York City. They began with a parade. Afterwards, Garvey gave his most famous speech in Madison Square Garden. 25,000 people attended, which unified a community to focus on black capitalism. This event gained so much success that everyone knew white power was being challenged. The wealthy men who made America collectively knew one thing had to happen. Marcus Garvey must be stopped. This is when the white elite made their alliance with the Boule, and W.E.B. Du Bois became the key player that altered black freedom forever. Du Bois, who was one of the first members of the Boule. He believed the top 10% of educated African Americans should lead the way in making things better for everyone by demanding equal rights as American citizens and work to break down racial barriers in the country. We can see Garvey and Du Bois had two completely different ideas on how to liberate the black community. Garvey believed in the black community being set apart, while Du Bois believed everyone needs to be treated the same. Why would the white elite go all in and support Du Bois' plan for black liberation? The answer is found in the beliefs of Freemasonry. They believe that Lucifer is the light bearer, and it's the Mason's job, or in the context of this video, the Boule's job, to spread Lucifer's light. Albert Pike's book, Morals and Dogma, confirms this belief on page 321. At some point very soon, the Antichrist will rise up as the spirit of Lucifer to bring peace in the midst of chaos. Then he will rule the one-world government. In order for this biblical prophecy to take place, the majority of people in the United States must believe in equal rights for everyone. Literally everyone, every race, every gender, and every orientation. This snowball effect all started with one deal with the devil that changed the path of black freedom forever. It all started with the financial problems of Liberia. This was due to government corruption. The president and his friends were taking money, leaving the country in a bad state. Liberia owed a lot of money with high interest, making it hard for the country to stay independent. Garvey suggested sending 20,000 to 30,000 skilled African American families to settle in Liberia to help stimulate the economy. Liberia was the only independent republic in West Africa, and everything else was colonized by Europeans. Seeing a chance to buy land in Liberia, Garvey proposed giving money to settle his people there. In October 1920, he started a construction loan and gathered a $2 million down payment for the government of Liberia. Instead, the President C.D.B. King went to Washington, D.C. to get the $5 million loan from the U.S. government. This happened right after Du Bois got appointed as the U.S. ambassador to attend the second inauguration of President King in Liberia. Du Bois was closely collaborating with the U.S. State Department to undermine Garvey's migration to Liberia. Du Bois played a big part in convincing the government of Liberia to reject the UNIA delegation. Wealthy African American leaders didn't support Garvey and the UNIA. Instead, they planned against him. Robert Abbott from the Chicago Defender accused him of selling stock in Illinois without a license. Church leaders among African Americans were upset by Garvey creating an African Orthodox church because it might draw members away from their own churches. W.E.B. Du Bois went as far as calling Garvey the worst enemy of the black race. He described Garvey as a chubby, not-so-good-looking black man with smart eyes and a big head. Garvey, however, didn't back down easily and called Du Bois a self-hating black person and preferred the company of white folks. Garvey said Du Bois, being a light-skinned person, disliked black people and enjoyed socializing, dining, and sometimes even sleeping with white folks. He believed Du Bois considered everything black as ugly and everything white as beautiful. Garvey concluded that those against helping Africa gain freedom were led by very light-skinned Negroes, with Du Bois in charge. So, what happens when you stand up against white supremacy? As for Garvey, he was convicted of mail fraud and thrown in jail. The U.S. government targeted him as a radical figure who posed a threat to the existing levels of power. Du Bois won this battle, and in return, the secret white leaders gave him a pat on the back by upgrading him and the Boule to be in charge of the black community. The Boule can be referenced to the same status of house slaves versus field workers. They were given better jobs, more money, and more comfort all around, as long as they kept the rest of the black community in order. This paved the way for the civil rights movement to take place, with Martin Luther King Jr. taking center stage, and I bet you have already guessed it, yes, he was a member of the Boule as well. Ironically, in Du Bois' later years of life, he moved to Ghana and promoted the Pan-African movement. Du Bois realized the civil rights movement did not result in equal rights for black people, as he so hoped it would do. I guess we will never know what it would be like if the black community stayed united under the visions of Marcus Garvey. We are in dangerous times, one in which the media has spread the glorification of Satan and his agenda. We must be careful of who we look up to and believe in. The devil is roaming about looking for whom to destroy. Guard your hearts with all diligence, be watchful, and pray that we do not fall prey to the devil, who is after our lives. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, like this video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more enlightening content.